What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we're doing our best to be the bridge between our fellow real estate investors and entrepreneurs and the cryptocurrency world, where we feel like crypto is the biggest opportunity over the next few years, and it's not even close. So welcome along on the journey. We're pumped to have you today. Corey, how you feeling today?
Oh, feeling absolutely blessed and amazing to be on this amazing journey with you guys, where we're going to create legacy wealth for us and our families and our friends via cryptocurrency, and then take profits and use real estate as that safe harbor, a wealth preservation tool. And it's just going to be an absolute blast to do this with you guys. I'm feeling so I don't know. The market sentiment has really shifted in the last couple of days. Jubilee and it was a Jubilee or it was Jubilee year. The first was Shemitah, then Jubilee. That's behind us. We're still kind of in supposedly Rectember, but it seems like that was a fake out. And I mean, I'm just feeling more and more positive and bullish as we're moving along this year. October's almost here, which is one of my favorite times of the year. And man, it's just been a blast. And super, super cool. I really feel like this is my opinion. It's not financial advice. You guys can go sell for all I care. I feel like we bottomed in Pulse. I did a DCA yesterday. So I'm starting to, spin up my DCAs back into Pulse. I never sold out, but like my new money, I did halt and pause for a minute because I didn't want to keep catching the falling knife. I wanted to see where we land. And it doesn't mean we can't go lower. I mean, if something bad happens, like a DOJ case, or obviously like a very big black swan event in the economy or in the world, it can always go lower. It's crypto. I mean, for all we know, this stuff can go to zero. But my asymmetrical upside risk from here, I feel pretty positive about. I like where we're standing. I like where we're going. Pdai's looking a little toppy, like how we said in the title here. Maybe some of these Pdai profits are going into more of the blue chips. And I anticipate a lot of that to happen, Dane, where a lot of the people are going to make a lot of money in the meme coins and even in the third-party blue chip assets. And when they're taking profits, they'll be going into, Pulse, Hex, and even, believe it or not, Pulse X, even though that's not my favorite one. But, you'll see a little bit of this happening as we're moving along. You'll see gains being made in these third-party protocols, or especially the meme coins, because people are not going to use the meme coin as a store of value, right? You're not going to, keep, 10 grand in P Pepe. I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know why somebody would.
Feeling brave.
It'd be feeling really brave if you're keeping that kind of money in P Pepe. But 10 grand in Pulse, especially at these levels, I would do all day long. That's an easy bet for me. So I feel like we'll see a lot more of that as we're moving along here, which is super exciting. We've done this many times in the show already. Give B Roots, many props for ushering in the mini bull run here with all the meme coins, especially with the Atropa, ecosystem that would be in, Pdai and Teddy Bear and some of these other, meme coins that are launched with liquidity tied to it. And, the maxis hate it. I'm loving it. And I really feel like that's why we're seeing this kind of like bottoming formation starting to form, is because of that money starting to come back into the blue chips. And plus, the DeFi protocols that are launching. We got Fame. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, he did a short. So Fame is accessible, obviously, to him and probably the team on mainnet.
One thing at a time. Let's go to that in just a second.
Let's
to nail down your point, I pulled up the Pulse chart, and man, you look at this really nice accumulation zone here. It's kind of been acting like a stable coin for, what is this, August 22nd? So I mean, almost a month here where we've just kind of been trending sideways, hanging out. There's not a lot going on. And this is good, like this is what the bottoming of a chart typically looks like, unless there's some really bad news here coming up.
Exactly.
Something like that. Yeah. So
And I like that little higher high there, or
uh-huh,
you call that lower high in TA. And yeah,
right
it
here.
kind of it's creating its own new foundation there. We're still hovering in the zone there if you were to draw lines, but it's looking positive.
Yes.
And we're probably going to run sideways, even if we are to move up a level. I don't expect us to go to the moon tomorrow, not even close. And so you have plenty of opportunity to DCA. We'll still have plenty of opportunity to come back down and maybe retouch, support lines, grabbing, bags at a deeper level. I mean, look at this. We're at 4,336. I bought yesterday at 4,1. It was like
Nice.
4,150. So I mean, we're even up a little bit from my last buy, which
This
is
was you right here.
right in there is where I got it yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't get a lot. I'm trying to withhold and do a nice DCA because, like I said, I don't believe we're going to the moon overnight. I wish we would. It's just not. It's just not what's going to happen. But that's fine. Give opportunity to everybody to bring in new money. DCA. If you guys aren't out there making new money, then you're doing it wrong. Whether it's spinning up a side hustle, maybe a business, maybe working overtime if you have a job, do whatever it takes to bring in some new money. Because I feel like, man, you're gonna look at this chart a year from now and go, holy crap, I can't believe I was buying in those levels. You're muted, Dane.
Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting to consider. I mean, when you look at a chart like this, you even go back and look at the ETH chart when it started to bottom like this, or the Hex chart, or whatever it is that you may like. Everybody talks about wanting to buy the bottom, and I would say we don't give any financial advice on this show. Corey and I, are feeling fairly confident about buying these levels.
Absolutely.
These type of levels are where you go and get mad gains. Unfortunately, it wasn't participating in the sacrifice. Unless you were well, you got the max multiplier. It's really interesting to see that sacrifice model has not preserved value for really anybody across the Pulsechain ecosystem. So lessons have been learned.
Yeah. And now that the playing field has been evened out a little bit, if you will. Like the Wells were the only one that got the opportunity to buy at 4 zeros and a 4. Now it's fair for everybody. You can't use the argument that only Wells are going to get those gains. When we do the 10x, 20x, 30x, there's no more of that. Like you have your opportunity, and like you said, it's been a month. We've been in this range for a month. I mean, how much more opportunity do you want? Like I said, yeah, there could be another leg down. So don't put your whole bag in what you got in dry powder. Always save some on the side just in case. But what if we don't? What if this is it? You got to ask yourself that question. You need to look at both sides of the equation. What if this is it? Well, I mean, you better put a bullet in if you believe that. If you believe, not financial advice, this is what I'm telling myself, right? This is how I talk to myself. And so this is it, Corey, put a bullet in because you're going to look back and be happy.
Yep. And it's exciting now. And that's what I was going to say. We're only about 7 months away from the Bitcoin halving, which historically Bitcoin starts trending up. I was looking, I can't remember who shared it on Twitter, but it was good this morning. They went back and they looked at each one of the halvings previously on Bitcoin, the 7-month marker. And then what was it? And in 2 of the last 3, it was trending up. And the other one, we had a black swan event last go around. And so it was bottoming and then it bounced pretty quick. So that's really bullish for everything. I'm telling you, I'm so curious to see, Corey. Crypto has been alive pretty much in a money printing bonanza during its entire life. What does this cycle look like this time around? What does the Fed do with the money printers? All that is yet to be seen, but things are looking relatively bullish, in my opinion, for crypto in general right now.
Yeah. Agree 100%. It's an exciting time to be alive, and to be probably in my opinion one of the best ecosystems and communities in the crypto space. There is no community quite like this one. Period. It's absolutely phenomenal. The friends I've made, the knowledge I've learned, the experience I've gotten. It's been just an absolute blessing of a journey.
Absolutely, I agree. Here's the Pdai chart. It finally is having a pullback. I mean, it's been straight up only for
That's a straight up head and shoulders, bro.
Yep.
So be careful buying that.
If you were looking to enter this chart, Corey, where are you looking at for support? I mean, probably more down here, right? Down in this area.
Or maybe it touches the top of that. See, right now it's kind of sitting on the big liquidity there. If you go back, take your cursor back, more back,
Down here?
back, go back this like that way. Yeah, you see that? Right now we're sitting on top of that liquidity there. What those two big candles?
Oh, right here.
Yeah, but like if we got down to those, go look at the next liquidity level. Right in that area, I feel like in that area it could be protected somewhere in there. If we touch somewhere in there, it could be. I'm no TA. I'm no TA, guys. I don't. This is not my specialty, right? But when I look at this, the little bit I do know about charts, and I know that's a head and shoulders that it's forming. In that area there, it could be a relatively safe bet as far as asymmetrical upside if Pdai is going to have a future. Assuming you believe that, right? Not everyone believes that, and so we're not saying go out and buy this. I'm not saying that at all. I don't own any Pdai, to be honest with you guys. But that could be an area that you might want to look at, especially if that is a head and shoulders. So, and what will happen is it'll dump. People are taking profits into Pulsechain, the blue chip assets they love, Hex, and a lot of people love taking profits into Hex because they feel like Hex is their Bitcoin, and I seem to resonate with that ideology. Although a Pulse is my number one asset of choice, they'll take profits into that. You'll see our favorite assets rise. And then as those rise, you'll see money come back out and then go into the meme coin game again. And we know this because we've seen this in Bitcoin and alts and Ethereum and alts for the last, multiple market cycles. Well, not multiple. We've only had three market cycles, but we've seen this game being played out. It's just human behavior. And what we like to do is we go and play the casino, make a little money, put it into the savings. The savings goes up, and then they're like, "Oh, we can play more casino games now," and they go back into the casino again. It's like this little back and forth. So I think we'll see a lot of that.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see. It's nice to see stuff like this running on Pulsechain. It's good to see activity. It's good to see, some of these guys. I've seen quite a few accounts on Twitter that are like their name .eth that have said they've been coming over to Pulsechain to come and play and some of this stuff. And I think it's awesome. More adoption to come. And I don't know if you saw Corey on Twitter. I think it was yesterday. Weren't we for as far as volume is concerned? I think we were like the second most utilized blockchain and everything.
Yes,
just wild.
That is, and people are like, "Oh, what's bots?" Yeah, but they all have bots, right? And so I feel like the playing field's pretty even when it comes to, especially when it comes to DeFi. Even centralized, BNB is all wash trading. You can't give me that argument because that's everywhere. It's across the board as a whole. So it's wild, man. I mean, if you believe in the whole Metcalf law?
Metcalf's law, yeah.
Yeah, where you it's user base squared. So it'd be 10x. If you 10x the user base, you 100x the price.
Right.
Is how it goes. It doesn't seem too far-fetched for me.
Only 10x and user base. I'm with you. It doesn't seem far-fetched at all.
Oh my gosh, especially going into the bull run. I mean, yeah, make your own financial decisions on that. But I really like the asymmetrical bet on that.
Agreed. Yeah, I like this comment. Bots or not, it doesn't matter. It's burning everything.
That's true. Oh my gosh, that's true too. And that's beside the point. Yeah, that's It's burning everything. It's great, man. It's great for our bags.
Absolutely. Here's a good question. Yeah, let me pull up the Pulsechain chart. I was looking at this.
You're a Pulse X believer. I believe we're in the same zone. I have some Pulse X. I have my bags packed to where I don't. For me, I don't want any more. My number one asset that I'm continuing to go after and will continue to go after until I stop DCAing will be Pulse. Period. Like that's all I'm going. Besides some third-party protocols, stuff like that I like, like Fame, Fiat, stuff like that. But like for my main focus for this market cycle is Pulse.
Yeah, the same thing. I mean, these two charts are really similar, Pulse and Pulse X. I mean, there's been essentially this one might even be a little longer. No, about the same. Yeah, about a month where you could acquire these lows. It looks like. I mean, once again, we're no chartists.
But look how that looks, man. It's nice and rounded. You have higher lows building back up. I mean, to me,
this one's a lower low on the Pulsechain chart.
Yeah, I remember when we hit the lower low, but Pulse, the liquidity is pulling it out. I bet if Pulse X was, untied to the Hex and Pulse liquidity pairs, it would probably definitely push lower. But
yes, agreed on that. Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm so excited about Pulse. I mean, we can get Pulse to run; it'll drag everything up since everything's tied to it for the most part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Absolutely. So up to you. Yeah, if you're excited about acquiring some Pulse X,
you could get in with Westcott and still get your.
Well, you can get in better than Westcott. That's the beauty of it.
If you're buying now. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So yeah, something to consider. And once again, we don't share any financial advice here. You got to make your own decisions when you press buy or sell. We're just looking at charts and giving our own thoughts. We absolutely could be wrong. So take
we're just a couple
everything we say with a grain of salt. Yeah.
Making speculations about our own financial decisions, our financial decisions, not yours.
Yeah. No, this is good. I'm wondering if I'm able to sell my 34 million Pdai if it hits peg, though. I mean, if it hits peg, there should be so much liquidity. You should have no problem, sir. I think you'll be just fine. I wouldn't hold my breath for hitting peg.
That's a tall order.
That is a very tall order.
And I hope it does.
Peg, then Hex is probably $4,000, like Kareem and Wells only said it should.
Yeah. Can you imagine the whole ecosystem as a whole? If that were to hit $1, all the money that would be flooding into Pulse, Hex, Pulse X, everything. Oh gosh, you want to talk about getting eyeballs in our ecosystem from other ecosystems? Boy, that would do it.
Yep.
I'm not holding my breath, but that would do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, Pulse is designed to never sell. If it gets adoption, it will forever grow. Even if the whole world is in it, that's the trick. We'll keep rewarding everyone. It's insane how this web is made. I like your general thought process. I'd be a little bit careful with never selling anything. I think there's a lot of narratives right now around some of the other cryptocurrency projects that have been built that they're made so that you could never sell your Richard Hart assets. I'd just be careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Be careful with any narratives.
Oh yeah. This is more context. Not selling is dumb, but you get the point. It'll forever make higher lows than the previous cycle.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited for it. I think you have to look at crypto. It's a technology space, right? And tech moves so fast. So there's no such thing as something that lasts forever. So you just want to be, you just want to take that into account as you're weighing things and your risk profile and how to allocate your bets. But we're here for it. I mean, we're really excited for this this first cycle with all this stuff. I think we're all going to be very, very happy in a year or two from now.
Assuming you were still DCAing.
Assuming you're buying, yeah.
If you bought the top, or let's assume you're only a Pulse X sacrificer and never put any more money in. I don't know how well you'll probably end up being all right, but
well, but think about that. So if we get 10x more users, you were a Pulse X sacrificer. Let's say you didn't get hardly any bonuses, right? You're just a small sacrificer. Yeah. So your entry point is pretty much 3 zeros and a 1. Well, you got to get if we 10x the user base, then that would be 100x from here, from the bottom, which would be a 10x for you from your
Correct.
sacrifice. So it's really important to take that into account. I see a lot of people that are like, well, when we 100x from sacrifice price, and I'm like, oh, I don't think that's the right way to be thinking about
Nope.
this. I mean, you got to look at it from the lows of where we're at right now, and you got to look at yourself, like Corey said earlier, and say, hey, do I have additional capital? What assets do I believe in? And man, you can offset your average entry price so significantly by getting in near the bottom. So once again, figure out your own strategies and what you feel good about placing bets on. It's really important to weigh.
Yep. Well said.
Absolutely. Yeah, I believe Pulse will move the slowest, will be the safest, though. What are your thoughts on this one, Corey?
I think it's always possible. I don't believe it, but it's definitely possible. I tend to believe what Sami talks about. I love his thought process. He believes Hex is running hardest right now because in our ecosystem, we are risk off. And Hex is the Bitcoin. It's the old store of value. So people are putting more money into Hex because it's just the safer bet. We're risk off. Sami believes when we become a risk on and when the real bull market returns, risk on is Pulse. And one could argue real risk on would be Pulse X. So I think Pulse sits somewhere in the middle. And he could be right, obviously. That's, but I think Pulse is going to be the winner, man. That's my opinion. I think it's going to whoop some butts, especially if there's some clarity around the SEC stuff at all, any kind of clarity whatsoever. I think Pulse is just going to rip faces off.
I agree. Yeah, and historically, you're right, and I think Crypto Elite knows this, but just in general, you're looking to beat the L1. So, are you buying things that you think can outpace the L1, and are you also buying the L1 to hedge bets there? You got to figure out your own proportions and things of that nature. Corey's a lot more Pulse heavy than I am right now. And I'm less so because we just have difference of opinions on things we like and in the current time frame and how we think they're going to run, which is fine, which is fine.
Yep.
Yeah. Literally, you can buy $1 billion Pulse X for 90%.
It's a fire sale. I mean,
there's a little. Yeah. Oh yeah. If you're in for a couple cycles, you should know L1's never outcompete. It depends on the time frames. Time frames.
This is right.
Yeah.
This is right. I mean, one could argue that all these meme coins that are launching every day, on the first couple of days, they well outperform Pulse. So it depends on your time frame. And it will be the same for your third-party protocols, except for it won't be in such a the meme coins have a lifespan of anywhere from a couple of days if they're really garbage, all the way up to what Teddy Bear has done in the last month. But you can't expect, I don't expect Teddy Bear to be still outperforming Pulse 6 months from now. It's just not my thinking. But a third-party protocol, something like Fame or Power City, that could outperform Pulse for 6 months. I can see that happening. But for the whole market cycle, hard to say. Maybe, maybe not. Typically, the L1 is usually always going to do the best. But you could definitely have periods where those third-party protocols will melt faces.
Absolutely. Did you say bets? Are you a gambler? Yeah, if you're here now, you are absolutely a gambler. Welcome along. My name's Dane. I'm a gambler. Hi, Dane. It's just math.
It's just math, bro. You didn't know?
Oh man, I'm telling you, hook, line, and sinker. They got me last go around, last bull run. I was fully on in that narrative, and gosh, that couldn't have been. In fact, I'm telling you guys, I've thought about this a lot over the last couple of years, and it's really interesting. What's going to be the narrative for Hex this next bull run? Because here's some of the narratives. It was the one that I thought a lot about more recently was that it was a hedge in the bear market. Like we were decoupled from the market because it was paired with USDC. And a lot of the tokens, the supply was locked up. And so there was less sellers. And, I think those were two really strong narratives. And frankly, like for what everybody knew about Hex last go around, I mean, I think that was a pretty reasonable thought process. You know what I mean? We had proof of it. There were times where Hex decoupled and just ripped while everything else was just kind of hanging around and moving sideways. And we're 99% down today. Now, of course, there's the stock split type of thing. So, I get it. But even still, if you add the two together, Hex is not even worth 2 cents today, I don't believe.
What if you add all five together?
Yeah, I mean, even then, it's it's still not pretty.
No, well, nothing.
So that's the nature of the bear market. Nothing's pretty.
Yeah.
Nothing's pretty. So that's fair. But what's the narrative going to be around Hex next time? Is there going to be people saying to lock up your coins for 15 years? Is there people going to say it's just math? What are people going to buy into this next go around? We need a really strong narrative that makes sense. Otherwise are RG3 and Kareem and Wells only gonna carry us to the moon because it's just maths, or we'll see.
We will see.
Yeah. Dylan nailed this one. The best news is that the SEC continues to lose in court. More and more bullish, and the sentiment around crypto seems to be changing. Absolutely. I'm telling you, I think there's more and more credibility around the idea of Richard avoiding being served and letting things kind of like flesh themselves out and being later in the line to get his ticket punched for the whole ring around the rosies with the SEC. Man.
Yep. Agreed.
Yep. Yeah. What's Drew thinking? 10x the users on Pulse for 100x of price is possible. However, getting 30x the users for 1,000x sounds like selling Hopium to me. I mean, 30x. So
30x user base, it would get you that. It's
what are we at right now? I think we're like 14,000 daily users.
Yeah. Well, in the last couple of days, Dane, we were at 9 there when we were really sitting stagnant.
Okay.
So that was kind of like our bottom, I guess you would say.
9,000. 9 then. Let's say 9,000 users times by 30. I mean, that's 250,000 daily users.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. I don't think it's without the realm of possibility. I think in order for that to happen, though, you've got to have the Richard Hart SEC stuff go very favorably. I think a lot of people do not agree with me on this, but I think you got to have Richard back. Like, people buy Tesla stock because of Elon, or I should say many people do. He's an interesting character. He's smart. He's engaging. He's funny. He does wild things like smoking weed with Joe Rogan on Joe Rogan's podcast. Like, he's an interesting character to follow around, and people like that. I think people freaking like Richard. I think a lot of people got into Hex, us included, because you had this dude on YouTube saying things that hardly anybody else was saying that made so much sense. The way he talked about crypto, the way he talked about security and keeping yourself safe. And a lot of people are talking about those things now. But I think we need Richard back to go do some of these really obscene numbers, or we need him to like hand the crown off to somebody in a public way to say, like, Sir Alex, take Pulsechain and make it beautiful. Something like that. If we don't get those, 1,000x is a lot, in my opinion. It'd be great. I hope it does.
Yeah, 2 market cycles.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Over time, you need less and less users for it to grow. Of course, you need to be early for sure. Yeah. Yes. Name of the game is being early on everything.
100%.
Yep. Fat Corey. Oh, Corey, I've got my double on the coin that won't be spoken of this morning. I got my double. So you, sir, are way up.
You don't want to know.
No.
I can't believe it.
Yeah,
wild.
Yeah, absolutely. They just die off, but nearly everything is leveraged on PLS. But hey, just speaking out of experience. No, that's a fair take. I think that's a fair take. Yeah, look how Hex 1 versus ETH or a tax coin with 5% daily ROA that does a 1000x. It's strange though, something with liquidity. I don't know what. Yeah.
Well,
No, this is good. Appreciate the commentary. I think it's something to consider.
There was the issue of like saying, oh, all the narrative of all these coins being locked up. Oh, everyone's staked. Oh, everyone's sacrificing the OA. He never sells. And all this narrative, none of that matters. The liquidity pools are what matter. And Richard likes really thin liquidity pools. So like any amount of selling is going to drive that price down. You can take all the supply off market. And if your liquidity pool is very, very thin, as soon as someone sells a coin, it's going to wreck the price. It doesn't matter. So that's one of the biggest things. And I know we talked about that yesterday or before yesterday, is that supply and demand, how that really plays out in markets, especially the bear market.
Right.
It really, really was an eye opener this last, year and a half, and a different, not even so much in the RH stuff, but some of these other stuff that we were participating in, some of the third party stuff. So it's just, a lot of lessons learned, man, in this bear market. Good lessons too, like really good stuff to make us smarter and more savvy investors in the future. It's going to be a blast. And hopefully we can keep sharing this knowledge with you guys as we're going along this journey too. It's
Absolutely.
Cut through the narratives, man. That's our number one goal with this show, is cut through the noise and tell you what's real, right?
Get
or
to
at
the
least
profits. That's right.
At least to about sit down and think for yourself and not buy into the garbage that people are feeding you. Some of the garbage could have some truth to it. There's always that. But you need to be making these decisions and you need to think it through.
Right.
So,
agreed.
Dane's selling coins over there. I can tell.
I'm just letting it ride. I mean, I figure I'd let it ride for the show, and we'll see where we're at after.
Oh gosh,
it's fun.
There's a little DJ in all of us.
Oh yeah, I bet you bought the top on the day. Well, I'll be real honest about that, and this hurts to say it. Wasn't quite on the day, but it was pretty freaking close on that Hex top. And I was newer, like you're just learning as you go along. We've had that a couple of years to learn at this point. I'm excited. I feel like I'm ready to rock. We know what to do this next time around.
I bought the Hex. I think the first time was at 33 cents. So that wasn't the top. What did Hex do? 57 cents or 56 cents?
Yeah, 55, 56, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, I was up there.
Yep. Yeah, Paul nailed it. Those lessons are actually tuition costs. They've been expensive too. Yes, indeed, sir. Yes,
thank God we know. Thank God we're all good at making money.
Oh, thank God for that.
That's all the money you had. That's
The nice thing about school is you don't ever that investment. You're not going to see your money. You didn't put a bunch of money into. Well, we'll let that. Never mind. We're not going to go down the rabbit hole. I have some strong feelings there.
That's for the private group.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Oh, this is a good one. I didn't know that Fidelity's been mining. Did you know this one, Corey?
I know they've been involved. I didn't know they were mining. I know that they were either a buyer. Yeah, I mean you hear about them here and there on Twitter and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah, it's big, and it's really interesting how hearing more and more. I mean, BlackRock has shares, and I think it's like 4 of the top 5 largest mining operations for Bitcoin in the world, or something like that. I mean, they're making moves, and in fact, I was trying to explain yesterday. I was on a call with one of our real estate friends, and he is understandably hesitant. You know what I mean? If you didn't know much about crypto and you'd seen the blood most recently, understandably hesitant. And I was talking to him and I was like, but look, man, like, how investing works. When we go do real estate deals, you want to try to buy stuff in up and coming areas, because as people come in and you're essentially front ran them and bought a property, then you get a large amount of the appreciation. I said, this is the same thing. And we're seeing the big boys, we're seeing them buy. They're literally telling the world what they've been doing. And we're near the bottom here. Or do you really want to stay out of the game when the trend here is incredibly strong and we're seeing where the money is going to be is already and is going to continue to be flowing. And I'm excited, man. I think it's going to be a wild ride over the next year or two.
I do too. I was watching the interview too with Arthur Hayes is his name, and Random Man interviewed him at that what is it, the Coin 204? I can't remember what it's, the conference that just went on. Arthur Hayes thinks we're going to have the and he had some pretty good points. You guys should go find the interview on Twitter. And I can't remember all the points he was bringing out, but man, he thinks that this is going to be the biggest parabolic bull run we'll see, followed by a massive recession and crash. But he thinks we're going to see one last massive leg up in the economy and market as a whole. Crypto is going to obviously benefit from that, and it's going to be wild for crypto, then followed by, a very deep recession. So watch that interview, guys. If you guys can find it. Yeah, take profits, please, guys. Please.
Don't be the bag holder this time.
We're gonna keep saying that over and over and over again on this show. Take profits. Learn from everyone else's mistakes that we've seen, who locked their coins up, who are unable to take profits. Don't be that guy. Have some bags that you can sell, and so you can make it through something like a recession, where you can be like, imagine if you take profits. You say you pull out even $1 million out of the marketplace, and then a recession happens, a bad crash. You have $1 million now where you get to go buy the blood on any asset business that you want. You can go and capitalize, and that $1 million now can be amplified into 100 million if you play your cards right through the recession and the next uptick in the economy. It's all about positioning your money at the right time and making sure that you're on the right side of the trade. And I know, I get it. How do you know? Blah, blah, blah. Well, one way is without following the narratives, thinking for yourself and taking profits. There's an old saying in the stock market world. It goes, you never go broke taking profits.
Right.
It's true. I'd rather sell too early and make money and miss a top than the opposite. And so, we're gonna be stressing it over and over again in our show.
Yep, absolutely. I think this is an interesting take, and this isn't necessarily accurate. In fact, we did a bunch of research early on other popular layer one chains and how far the pullbacks they did when they initially launched. I'm telling you, not everything pulled back an 80, 90% dip. I see a lot of people on Twitter assuming that all price charts pull back these amounts. Not to say this about you, Crypto Elite. I'm just talking generally here. But there were plenty L1s that did great, that pulled back 30%, 40, 50%, and that was it. That was the bottom. And so I think that when you take into account the time that Richard launched, I think that he's kind of forced into it with the SEC case. He wanted to have something out so he could say, hey, like, I've actually produced what I said I would produce. I think that if you would have launched Pulse closer to the end of this year, you probably don't see the pullback that we have.
Yep.
But this is a fair comment. Yeah. Absolutely. Bring Richard back, man. I'm here for it. I miss old Richard. I love to see Richard back. Yeah, what does Drew say? I didn't buy the top on Hex. My first buy is 18 cents, so I'm right there with you guys, buying in at high prices. Now I know crypto can and will do. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, dealing with some horror stories too. Bitcoin at 19K, wrote it down to 4. I bought it 18. What did I buy? I bought 2 tops now, and I've learned my lesson. I bought it at like 18.5. It dipped down to like 17, and I bought a whole Bitcoin. About 18.5, dipped down to like 17, and I was like, nah, I'm out. And I sold for a little bit of loss. So it wasn't too bad. I didn't take the whole ride down, but I wish I would have been paying attention in that bear market. I think I would have slayed it in this. That was 2 ago. I think I would have slayed it in this last one. But you live and you learn. That's all good.
Yep. You have the knowledge now, Dane.
Yep. Absolutely. What are the devs doing right now? Something related to ink and a wallet. I feel like I'm in the eye of the storm.
Maybe.
I don't know anything about ink and a wallet.
Yeah, I don't either. Where'd you hear that rumor for Ferdo?
Oh, right. The rumor where like ink could be tied to the wallet.
I mean, it would be cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting
I would,
idea.
yeah.
Apparently, nobody is speculating on that because the ink has just been sold off into oblivion. So
Is it, dude? It's 99% down.
the market disagrees with this rumor for the time being, anyways.
Well, that's yeah.
Yep, we will see. Briss, everyone's got some stories. Yeah, I brought $100 of Bitcoin when it hit 60K as a celebratory purchase. I like it.
Love it. Buying the top.
Yep, absolutely.
Rizology is an OG, man. He knows. He knew
Yeah,
that was the top.
absolutely.
He didn't call and tell us so.
Yeah, DM me next time you do that, so I can know when to take profits. That'd be much appreciated. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, this is good. I even know how the cycles work since 2018 and knew the cycle was ending. That was enough. The 1 billion sack was even a bigger signal. Amazed I didn't realize and FOMO took over. Yeah, it's it's interesting. I'm telling you guys, the Coinfession story that we shared last week where the dude round trip $2.8 million because he was making, I think it was like 35K a day in passive income on his holdings. We've seen it in business, we've seen it in real estate, we've definitely seen it in crypto, where if you're chasing passive income, which we're here for it, don't get us wrong, we love some passive income, but most of the passive income, most of the time, isn't particularly sustainable. And so, yeah, be aware of that. I don't be the guy that round trips 2.8 million to
Yeah,
nothing.
I've learned some lessons with that too during this bear market.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, doesn't the dollar drop one in a recession? And what do you put your money? What's safe in a recession? I mean, so I'll tell you a little bit about my plan. Gosh, in fact, Corey and I have strategized on this a little bit. I've been thinking about this for a long time because we've seen it in lots of business ventures where when the market turns against you, I mean, there's not a lot you can do if you're in a business that's that can be influenced heavily by the markets. When they go bad, like, you can work your brains out but still be left in a spot that is not real advantageous. In fact, my wife runs our dog breeding operation, and I'm telling you guys, during COVID, we were printing money. It was stupid. We have never sold dogs for more money as easily. I mean, it was wild. And now that market's just gotten really soft. In fact, we've got a handful of dogs at our house that we need to sell right now. And my wife I was joking with her. There's one of the dogs that's one of the last ones left from one of the litters, and she's like, "Oh, I thought this one was a really cute dog." And I was like, "Well, the market disagrees with you right now." Market does not agree with that sentiment.
I love it. I love it.
So, to finish the comment, so I really like the idea of getting into businesses that are a little bit more recession proof. So, what are things that people pay for, or even pay for more when things go bad? I really like the idea of drug treatment facilities. People need help. You could be a force for good in the world in that respect, and unfortunately, those problems only get more severe when things go bad.
Yep.
And so that can be a unique opportunity to be able to help people and have a profitable business. There's a huge boom right now in assisted living. In fact, you can do assisted living and care out of a residential home if you get the right licenses and whatnot, the right people in place. That's a really interesting trend. There's a lot of places. So that's where I would be looking. I would say, hey, like, what needs to get paid for no matter what when the market goes down, and try to position in those types of things.
Yep. Yeah, we've had a lot of friends. I've known a lot of friends who have done assisted living. And then I got a buddy, it's funny you mentioned that name. I got a buddy in Arizona who does sober living. He's also sober for like 8 years. He's very passionate about that. I don't know if some of you guys might know, I'm sober for over 3 years. So I would be pretty passionate about something like that, helping people out of that time in their life, because it's not easy at all. Going from, I mean, I was a daily drinker from morning to night every day, and to be able to get out of that was it was tough. And so that would be awesome to start a business like that. I think I'd be passionate about that.
Yep, do some good in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
except the guy who sold his 1,700 Bitcoins at 30 cents, he may have gone broke taking profits. That would hurt. Oh, that would hurt.
unless he bought back in, it was 30 cents the top at that time, or was the 30 cents like was at the bottom? You don't sell bottoms. That's the thing, though. You don't sell bottoms. Yep. Like, I'm not selling shit right now. There's no, you don't sell. If that was the bottom, you don't sell it.
Right.
It's just stupid.
Right. Well, and I think there's a ton of people, that I think there's a ton of people that, including I think there's a lot of Hexicans, for instance, that bought into the idea that T-shares could pay for their life forever, even when things were low. And now they're forced, if you build a staking ladder to take, money out every 30 days, for instance, like some of those guys did, or every other week or quarterly or whatever, and you're taking that out now. I mean, I think a lot of those people are depending upon that money, and you see a lot of bottom sellers due to that. Which we wish them the best. We hope that, we hope things work out. It's just learning lessons,
That's all it is.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited for Richard. I think, in fact, what's the over/under, Corey? What's the likelihood that Richard comes back? You put it at 50%, more or less?
Yeah, I do. If he gets served or addresses the issue, I put the likelihood a lot higher. If he just completely avoids and doesn't want to get served, then it could be a lot longer.
Yes.
It depends on him, man, what he decides on doing. It looks like he is holding out on being served, which is fine. That could be the best strategy. I mean, we don't know, right? No way of knowing. And that means we might have to wait a little longer, but that's fine too, because then we can just, you might not get your 1,000x, but I still think you can still get your 100x maybe.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
And I think with the information we have today, I would put it at more likely than less that Richard comes back. I don't think that Richard's talked about doing a Satoshi and just poof being gone. I don't think it's quite yet, though. I think what we know about Richard is that he loves to have his ego stroked. And I think that I don't think that you leave your brand new stuff that you just launched to be without you for at least for its first cycle. I think we'll get at least one more cycle of Richard, or at least that's what I'm hopeful for. We'll see. Yeah. You can lose money taking profits. Let us thank the U.S. government for the crazy amount of money we pay in taxes. Those are the worst. Those poor stories on Coinfessions when somebody did great, right? They went and exited and did really good. They took profits, so they were way up. That's a taxable event. And then they went and take the profits and put it into something that goes to zero. So they're still on the hook for the taxable event on the gains, but then they lost all the money. Shot in the foot. Yeah. In fact, I've talked with a few different people about this. Maybe Corey can give some more insights. I've heard a lot of people talk about this going away, but I haven't seen anything real.
No, there's nothing concrete. The thing is, Drew, if you're here already, you're automatically grandfathered in.
Yep.
So they could take it away. If you're here and you establish residency, you're good. You're good. So that's already in part of the law or the code or whatever it is. Code. Everything's code with crypto. But if they were to take it away, you're here, you're grandfathered. So it's just a matter of taking the leap of faith and getting out here if that's what you wanted to do.
Yep. And make sure if you're going to go the Puerto Rico play, you got to do it early. You don't want to go at the top. You're going to pay taxes on all those gains.
You pay taxes on the delta, right? So when you come pregnant with crypto, whatever your cost basis is to establish that crypto versus what your portfolio is worth at the time when you enter the country, you got to pay on the delta. Now, if it's underwater, you pay nothing, right? That's the beautiful thing about losses. You won't pay any taxes on losses. But if you come in on top of a bull run, you're going to pay on everything, all your gains when you're coming into the country. So a lot of people don't realize that. Or they come in thinking they got more gas in the tank. I was talking to my attorney, and he was like, yeah, a lot of people came in the last, 2020 and 2021 because they thought Bitcoin was going to go to 150 or Bitcoin's going to go 200,000. They thought there was a lot more gas in the tank, and Bitcoin topped out at 68K and then shit the bed, right? And so a lot of those people who came in during that time, they end up leaving almost immediately after the bull run or during the bull run because there was no gains to be had. So you got to really take that in consideration. The best time to come out here and do something like this is in the middle of a bloody bear market when it's the worst time probably for you to make that commitment.
Right.
Easy for you to make the commitment when you got $1 million sitting there and you're like, oh, let's go to Puerto Rico and I'll send it. Nah, don't work that way. You got to do it when you're broke. You got to do it before you make the gains. And that's what makes it difficult.
Right. Nailed it. Recession proof asset, toilet paper.
That's true.
Did you guys have people in Arizona? We had some news stories here in Utah. I remember seeing one. There was a garage that was open and literally just it was like a warehouse of toilet paper, just stacked to the brim, rows and rows and like layers, and they were hawking toilet paper for a profit. Whatever floats your boat, man. That markup, they probably made a whole $1,000 on that inventory of toilet paper.
Supply and demand at its finest.
Right. Oh yeah, these are cool. Props to you, Corey. Yeah, congrats, Corey. Hard Habits. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's was an alcoholic and drug addict for 20-something years.
That 1,700 Bitcoin sells in 2011. They had no idea what was to come.
Oh,
Nobody
boy.
did.
Jeez.
Nobody knew.
That's brutal.
Yeah. 90% he comes back to streaming. He still tweets. I hope so. I don't feel that confident 90%, but I'm hopeful. Yeah.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that'll be good. Well, cool, guys. This was an excellent show. You guys gave us tons of information to be able to go through and opinions to consider. We're only 7 months to the Bitcoin halving. I think that the government's got to seriously consider what they're doing with the money printers, with some of the reports coming out and whatnot. It is not looking great. The U.S., I believe it's next year. And once again, I know crypto isn't just the U.S., but the Federal Reserve in the United States impacts a lot of things that happen globally. And the United States has some debts to pay next year. And at these rates, that is not going to happen. And so what do they do in order to make that all work? Well, they need to slash rates to get rates to a place where they can manage it and print capital. That's how the current fiat Ponzi system works.
Why can't we do that? Like, I have debt on my house. I can't just print money in my basement to pay off the house.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't work that way for me.
You haven't been printing money in your basement?
I have not.
Oh. I should show you my money printer that I have.
Oh man, I didn't know that was allowed. Okay, I've been playing the game all wrong.
Right? Yeah. U.S. dollars. Those are recession proof. Go get more of those.
Right.
Oh man. Well, cool, guys. Once again, appreciate you tuning in. We'll be here later this week. We have some more guests that we're working to bring on. That'll be fun to chat with. If you want to come on, if you know somebody that has an interesting story, you want to come join us, just DM us. We'd love to have you on.
I want to have Brizology on. We had him on that one day, but we need to have an actual show, Brizology, where you come on and we hear all your good stuff, man, all your good stories of your crypto journey. We would love to hear it. So,
yep, absolutely. Paul's got jokes. Absolutely. All right, cool, guys. Have a good one. We'll talk to you guys.